High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
If you don't get a shot away, they'll talk about it the rest of your life. Magic fires for three. Got it at the buzzer. Magic hit a three-pointer. The Lakers win.
Go back for the win. Bingo! Clippers win.
Garoppolo under pressure. Donald got there in the air, intercepted by the Rams, and they may ride to the Super Bowl on that.
This is for you, Kings fans, wherever you may be. All the frustration and disappointment of the past is gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2023-24 season and the 2024 NBA playoffs. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you know every single time I post a video. All things NBA and, of course, LA sports. And we are live from Los Angeles, baby. Also, remember to follow your boy on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. And if you are on Twitter, please come join me on YouTube. That's where I'll read your comments. That's where I make my most money, and that's where we need that 10,000 subscribers. So if you're on Twitter, come over to the YouTube. That is the best part. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Any donation is appreciated for your boy. And tonight, we got a special live. It's a non-LA live, and that's always normal during the playoffs, but I have been very busy lately, okay? I've been very busy, and I was going to the game yesterday. By the way, that vlog is out now on the channel. Game 2, Clippers, Mavs. Go check it out. The atmosphere, what fans are saying after the game. You know, those videos are priceless because they're actual experiences at playoff games. When we get a chance to do that, that is extremely special. So absolutely check that out. Now, as far as tonight's games that I got to talk about, I didn't get to watch the games tonight. I was running 2 practices for my teams that I coach, so I didn't get to watch. And yesterday I was going to the game, so I didn't get to watch the Pacers game or the Timberwolves game. But I watched the Pacers-Bucks game today, and I didn't talk about game 1. So I figured, you know what? Let's just knock a series out right now. Let's talk Pacers-Bucks. So let's talk Pacers-Bucks. This is the video for the real hoop fans, episode for the real Dime Dropper fans that love the game. Doesn't matter just Clippers or Lakers, just love the game. So to start the game, and by the way, if you haven't checked out the preview, which is still relevant throughout the series, check it out with a Bucks fan and a Pacers fan. Ben represented Indiana. Camille, one of the hosts of Locked On Bucks, native Wisconsin. A girl, she represented the Bucks. So check that out. Great content, great insight. Anyway, I was looking at the matchups to start the game. Andrew Nembhard on Dame Lillard. This is game 1 I'm talking about, by the way. Game 1 first. Halliburton on Pat Bev. Pascal Siakam and Bobby Portis. Miles Turner on Brook Lopez. And Aaron Nesmith on Chris Middleton. Now, I also saw Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam switching who they were guarding. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The Pacers stayed solid. It was the Bucks who sometimes you saw Lopez on Pascal. Sometimes you saw him on Miles Turner. And then sometimes you saw Portis on Pascal and Miles Turner. So they were kind of switching. Bev has been guarding Tyrese Halliburton for the first 2 games. Majority of the time he's in, he's always guarding Tyrese Halliburton. Malik Beasley was guarding Aaron Nesmith, as was Chris Middleton. Damian Lillard was guarding Andrew Nembhard. And then Brook Lopez, as I said, was switching with Bobby Portis. Miles Turner was in drop coverage. Brook Lopez, you know he's going to be in drop coverage. And then Jalen Smith was in drop coverage. Bobby Portis was also in drop coverage at times in the first game, and they adjusted that in the second game. But I could, you know what? I could be wrong because I didn't watch the second half very intently. In the first, with big time, like locking in every possession like I was the first half for the second half of game 1. So if Bobby Portis was hedging on the screens, let me know in the comment section. But in the second game, he was basically hedging the entire game. Damian Lillard has come out like an absolute boss in these first 2 games, especially game 1. This dude was turning the corner and getting to the rim left and right on pick and rolls. And then one-on-one, he was beating his man. He was knocking down the three. And then on the other end, the Bucks had Brook Lopez protecting the rim. Just about everything went right for the Bucks in the first half of game one. And just about everything went wrong for the Pacers in the first half. They actually won the second half by 12 points, 52-40. Indiana, but the game was in the refrigerator at halftime, in my opinion. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks just hit him with such an offensive flurry. It was 69-42 at half, and you don't really have many 27-plus point comebacks in the NBA playoffs in NBA history. So give credit to the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis going out there and setting the tone. And it starts with Dame. We've been talking about him all season. He needs to perform. He has had a disappointing season for his standards. His shooting has been so iffy, but he was absolutely cash in game one. As far as the Pacers, the only guy I can say good things about in game one really was Pascal Siakam, who had 8 points in the first quarter of game one, hitting the mid-range. And I love how he's embraced the mid-range over the years. He's got that. He's got a solid post game, got a solid turnaround over his right shoulder, got a solid pull-up. So Pascal, I said it, when the Pacers got him, it's the difference between having no chance of winning a first-round series and now you do have a chance of winning a first-round series with a bona fide second star that you got in his prime. You know, they gave up a lot of picks for him, but you are getting Pascal Siakam in his prime, assuming that the Pacers keep him this offseason. I think it's going to be a solid deal. TJ McConnell came in and guarded Damian Lillard when he was in. Dame had a crazy step back at the buzzer at the end of the first quarter. And the Pacers were 0 for 9 from 3 in the first. Damian Lillard had 19 points in the first. The Pacers got outscored in the first quarter 30-21 in the first quarter. So not even that bad. But the second quarter was all Milwaukee. 39-21 in that one. Bobby Portis was starting to cook. He had 8 points in the quarter, taking advantage of Jackson, who was in drop, Isaiah Jackson. In the non-Halliburton minutes for the Pacers in the beginning of the second quarter, and by the way, Halliburton, he was not looking to be aggressive at all in the first game. He had just 7 shot attempts in the entire game. Less than Aaron Nesmith, less than Miles Turner, less than TJ McConnell. That's unacceptable. I don't know if that's the injury or mindset or what, but Tyrese Halliburton has to be more aggressive and was more aggressive in game two, but that was my takeaway from game one. In the non-Halliburton minutes, though, they went from down by 8 to down by 17. The Bucks went on a 10-0 run, and they were getting whatever they wanted. And we know with the Pacers, defense has not been their strong suit this season. Damian Lillard was really setting a tone and breaking the defense down left and right in game one. The Pacers were not switching Doug McDermott onto Damian Lillard, just hedging and recovering with him. And Aaron Nesmith, he could not do anything right in game one, it seemed. He was missing threes. I remember there was one time he got lost on D in the first half off the ball. He had a 24-second violation where he didn't realize what the shot clock was at. He had 7 points in the first game on 2 for 9 shooting and 1 for 7 from 3. So just a rough game for Nesmith and the Pacers shooting. You know, this is the second best offensive rating in the NBA, right? Mods, if one of my mods are in here, please check that for me. It's that was just an anomaly of an offensive game, to be honest, for them. But you got to credit the Bucks defense for sure. There's always two sides to every coin. Their defense was good, but the Pacers also just missed shots. Now, it helps when the key for the Bucks is scoring the basketball. I know that sounds really stupid. Like, of course it is. That's how you win the game. But it's what I mean. When you score the ball, you're allowing your defense to set. And one thing the Pacers love to do is that quick offense off of misses. You know, transition threes, Tyrese getting the ball and pushing, and Miles Turner being able to shoot the ball. You know, you really got to worry about 5 shooters. With Siakam, it's even more lethal, in my opinion, because you have a guy that's so good at getting downhill, a real athlete with size, and then the cross matches. But we'll wait to talk about that in depth in game 2 because you didn't really see it much in game 1 because the Milwaukee Bucks were scoring so much. Even Chris Middleton in that first half, and we talked about it in the preview with Camille and Ben. Chris Middleton is the X factor for this Bucks team. When he plays well, they play much better. He had 8 points on 3 for 6 shooting, so nothing too crazy from Chris, but efficient. He also had 7 rebounds and 3 assists in that first half. And then the second half, the Bucks really cooled down. It was 29-14 in the third quarter in favor of the Pacers. But by the way, just to finish off on that second quarter, Dame had 16 in the quarter. Andrew Nembhard was just getting absolutely torched. And a lot of it wasn't even terrible defense, just Dame is Dame. And playoff Dame showed up, the good kind. And on the other side, they were just missing everything. Couldn't really do anything right, except Siakam, who had 19 of their 42 points at halftime. He was getting in his bag. But third quarter, the Milwaukee Bucks shot 33% from the field, 7 for 21. Damian Lillard was 0 for 3 and played the whole quarter, a donut. So being able to contain him a bit, that really helped. Tyrese Halliburton, just 1 shot in the third. Siakam with 8. So Siakam, he continued to be aggressive the whole game, but it was to no avail. The Bucks won game 1 in commanding fashion, 109-94. As for the lines for the Pacers, they went pretty deep into the rotation, to be honest, for a playoff game. They played an 11-man rotation. Isaiah Jackson got 2 minutes, had a donut. And now I understand what my friend Ben was talking about when he said Rick Carlisle's rotations were a little sus. 11 players? That's a lot for a playoff game. Doug McDermott played 7 minutes, had a donut. It was 0 for 1. It was minus 17, which was the worst of any Pacer. Bro can't guard. But that's obviously the plus minus single game. I'm not looking into that too much, but that don't look good. That's for sure. Ben Shepherd, he only got 9 minutes. Ben talked about him in the preview that he's really come along, played some solid D. 3 points, 4 rebounds, 1 for 5 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3. Welcome to the bright lights, brother. And then Obi Toppin and Jalen Smith each played 13 minutes. Jalen Smith just had 2 points, 7 boards, 2 turnovers on 0 for 2 shooting, 0 for 1 from 3. So irrelevant, basically, for me. I mean, maybe if he got 5 offensive rebounds. So maybe in the second half he did something. I mean, it's trivial. Obi Toppin, 4 points, 5 boards, 2 for 6 in the field, and 0 for 4 from 3. And then TJ McConnell, who's their best bench player, 10 points on 5 for 13 shooting and 0 for 3 from 3 in 18 minutes. So not the most efficient game, but he had 10 points. Then the starters, who all played 30-plus minutes. Andrew Nembhard had his welcome to the playoffs moment. 6 points and 3 dimes on 2 for 6 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3, 1 for 1 from the line. And then you had Miles Turner, who had a really rough shooting game. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. That sounds good, right? 5 for 17 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3, 4 for 6 from the foul line. He had a rough one, and he's one of the guys that actually has playoff experience, having played on that 2016 Pacers team that lost the Game 7 in Toronto and then got swept by the Cavs the following year. And then he lost to the Cavs again the following year with Oladipo and crew. That was in 7 games to Cleveland. That was a tough series, man. They pushed LeBron to the limit. And then we saw him in the 2019. So he has a good amount of playoff experience, to be honest. It's a lot of first-round experience. 2019, first round against the Celtics where they got swept. Then they lost the Heat in the bubble in 2020. So it's just a lot of first-round stuff. He's never won a first-round series. He has to be better than that. And then you had Aaron Nesmith, who I think is one of the more improved players in the NBA, but 7 points on 2 for 9 shooting and 1 for 7 from 3, as I said before. That ain't going to cut it. And then you have Tyrese and Siakam. Halliburton with just 9 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal and a block, 3 turnovers on 4 for 7 shooting and 1 for 3 from deep in his first taste of postseason anything. Yeah, welcome to the playoffs, my friend. This is a different ballgame, and this is why I say everybody's got to slow down when they make comparisons, because the playoffs is a different ballgame. You're getting schemed as the best player every game by the same team. It's not bullshit regular season ball. Don't give me those stats. Every single one of your flaws for your team and you individually will come out in the playoffs. So when a guy has shown something in the playoffs, giving them that deference and that respect, I think that's warranted. So Tyrese, first playoff game, boo, not a good performance. Siakam, on the other hand, the only guy I can say was pretty good. 36 and 13. One of the only Pacers to do that besides PG. Shout out to, of course, Paul George. And, of course, Jermaine O'Neal. 36 points, 13 rebounds. There's no way Mel Daniels didn't do that in the ABA, though. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, just don't include this shit. I get it, NBA history, but come on, let's educate our people. The ABA was really good, almost as good as the NBA some of those years. Mel Daniels is the best Pacer of all time. Him or Roger Brown. Sorry, Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller agrees with me. Mel Daniels is the best Pacer of all time. And he doesn't get enough love. 36 and 13, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks for Pascal on 60% shooting. 15 for 25, 1 for 4 from 3. But how about this trash? 5 for 10 from the foul line. What the hell is that? In 40 minutes. The Pacers shot 40% from the field, 21% from 3, 8 for 38, and 67% from the foul line in game 1. Terrible shooting splits. The Bucks played 9 guys. AJ Green playing the least with a donut, and he was 0 for 3. All those shots were threes in 6 minutes of play. Jay Crowder played 12 minutes, had 5 points, 3 boards, and an assist on 2 for 4 shooting and 1 for 2 from 3. Pat Connaughton played 22 minutes, had 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals. Just getting after it a little bit defensively. 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. Malik Beasley came off the bench. Bobby Portis started instead of Giannis. Pat Bev is replacing the starting lineup, as Camille said in the preview. He had 9 points and 4 boards on 3 for 7 shooting, and those were all threes. So a very solid game off the bench for Malik. Then the starters, they all played 31 plus minutes. Bobby Portis played 31, and he had a double-double. 15 points, 11 boards, and an assist on 7 for 15 shooting. He was 0 for 2 from 3, though. 1 for 1 from the foul line. Solid day at the office for Bobby to get a double-double. Shot well from the field. Then you had Pat Bev, who had 5 points, 7 boards, 8 assists, 2 steals. 8 assists is a lot for Pat Bev. The 7 boards doesn't surprise me at all. 2 steals, just 1 turnover on 2 for 5 shooting and 1 for 2 from 3 in 37 minutes. I mean, Pat Bev doing a little bit of everything, guarding Tyrese Halliburton at the point of attack, barely letting him get shots off. That's the Pat Bev effect, baby. That's the Pat Bev effect. How about Brook Lopez? He played 32 minutes, had 11 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 3 blocks. 5 for 10 from the field. His 3-ball wasn't really falling, though. Just 1 for 4 from that department, or in that department. But a solid performance overall, especially on the defensive end from Brook in game 1. And then the man of the hour. Actually, no, Chris Middleton. What a first game for him. X Factor. And you can see it. 23 points, 10 boards, double-double for Middleton. 4 assists, 1 block, just 1 turnover, 9 for 14 from the field. 1 for 4 from 3, so he was 8 for 10 from 2. That mid-range, that long jumper, it was going for him in the first game. He was a plus 25, which is the highest of any player on the court. But the man of the hour, my player of the game, Damian Lillard. 35 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He did cool off in the second half, but I thought he was the man in the first half, and that was really what, swung the game in Milwaukee's favor. It was just too much of a deficit, too much of a lead for the Pacers to overcome. 11 for 24 from the field, 6 for 11 from 3, and 7 for 7 from the foul line in his first game as a Buck. Now we're going to go to game 2. And now before I get into that, I want to tell everybody, I see 76 people on Twitter and 12 on YouTube. It would be very appreciated if you would come here on YouTube, because that's where I make my money. That's where I'm reading your comments. You can actually give me feedback. I want to get to 10,000 subscribers, so I would really appreciate that. I posted the link on my Twitter page, so just go find it. It's right there. But anyway, yes, I see a comment, and I'm so happy you said it because I forgot to mention it. But the LA Kings have stolen home ice, baby. I was able to get home in time for the third period and overtime. And who else but the GOAT himself, Anze Kopitar, getting it done and winning us the game. I've been debating, and Jim Fox was talking about it in commentary. Was that pass up the ice intentional, or was he trying to just hit it off the boards and just advance the puck? But if it was a pass, because there was a guy, I forgot who it was, that was standing right there, a Kings player that it looked like he was trying to pass to, but I think he was just trying to hit it in that direction, and hopefully he got something up the ice, and for it to land right into Kobe, and he took his chance, picked out that top right corner. Game time, son. Anze Kopitar. If people don't know who that is, by the way, to me, he's a guy that, I think is in the conversation for the greatest King ever. Obviously not a better hockey player than Wayne Gretzky, and I'm not as well versed in Kings history as basketball and even the Dodgers per se. But man, Kobe, I saw him play 11 years. Clayton Kershaw, I've seen his entire career, but there's only one athlete still in LA that's playing that I was watching when I first started watching sports in 2006, and that's Anze Kopitar. He's been here forever with us. So that statue is going to be great. I can't wait for it whenever it happens. But I mean, I actually can wait for it because I love watching Kobe play. He's going to have his number retired and everything. And 1-1, bringing it back. Remember, we've lost to Edmonton 2 years in a row. We're like the Dallas Mavericks of that series. We've lost 3 times in a row to these guys, 2 times in a row to these bozos. Let's see if we can defend home ice and win both home games. We haven't been able to do that these last 2 years. If we can go up 3-1, then we got them. And I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to any of these home games, which is so unfortunate. So I'm hoping if you're going Kings fans, bring the noise, baby. We're going to need it. So anyway, let's talk about game 2 of this Pacers series. I hate how I said come on to YouTube, and all I have is more people on Twitter, 92 of you. But anyway, 100 people watching the live. I would love you to come to YouTube. Please do so. Anyway, game 2. Wow, this was a different one, huh? I actually watched this game on the local feed with Marcus Johnson and Lisa Byington. And it's always great to listen to MJ, Marcus Johnson. We had his grandson, Will, my boy, on the podcast. That was my first Dime Dropper featuring episode. He played at Oregon, and he played with Peyton Pritchard, roomed with Peyton Pritchard. Played with Bol, Troy Brown, Chris Duarte, these guys. So check that one out. That's a great episode. He's part of the reason why I'm so into the old school and so harsh on this era, because he pointed out a lot of things to me from a college basketball player's perspective, but also a guy whose family is, basketball royalty in the great Marcus Johnson. So he gave some great context on his team and the Pacers for me. I loved listening to it. He's got some solid chemistry with Lisa. And in this game, and he's very spot on with his, his analysis in game, for people that are watching, and like everything I'm looking for an announcer to say, he's saying. So it's always a good sign. Now, Andrew Nembhard was guarding Dame Lillard, same as game 1. Miles Turner on Brook Lopez, also same as game 1. Basically, the Pacers kept their same matchups to start. Nesmith on Middleton, Pascal on Bobby, and Halliburton on Bev. On the other side, same thing where Lopez and Bobby were switching onto Siakam and Lopez. And I don't mean switching on the pick and roll. I mean switching, coming up the court, like each possession. At times, Portis would be guarding Siakam. At times, he'd guarding Turner, and then Lopez would take Siakam. But that Lopez against Siakam, we can't do that anymore if you're the Bucks. He's getting exposed because Siakam's going downhill on him and then stopping on a dime when he's got all the momentum going backwards, Brook Lopez. So that ain't it. Bobby Portis is definitely a better matchup for him. But, the most ideal matchup is sitting on the bench. Big Giannis. And in game 2, you got to feel the lack of Giannis. The Pacers played a lot better. In many ways. We're going to be getting into that. But Pat Bev guarding Tyrese Halliburton, Dame guarding Andrew Nembhard, Middleton on Nesmith. And it started out with Brook Lopez and Dame scorching hot to start. Scorching hot. Both teams were knocking down their 3 balls in the first quarter. Actually, no, the Pacers weren't really. But they shot 50% in the first. The Bucks shot 38% from the field in the first because they actually just cooled down as it went on. But they shot 46% from 3. Brook Lopez hit 3 of them, and Dame hit 3 of them. Dame had 15 of the Bucks, 26 points after 1. But the Pacers led 30-26 after 1 because Tyrese Halliburton was already looking to be more aggressive with Brook Lopez in drop coverage. He hit a pull-up 3. And then this one, Bobby Portis was hedging. So it put Miles Turner in those pick-and-pop situations and Siakam in those downhill situations after those screens. And Siakam, he was getting downhill. He was getting to his mid-range. He was catching the ball in the post, turning over that right shoulder. He was eating. It's absolutely eating. And right now, Siakam's in his prime. He's the best scorer on this team. And I think people really underestimate him sometimes. This is a guy that was a second leading scorer on a championship team and has only gotten better since then. he takes this as I said, he takes this team from they had no chance of winning a first round series to now they have a chance of winning a first round series. And yeah, I don't think they would beat the Bucks with Giannis healthy for every game, but I would give them a chance with Siakam. But without him, I wouldn't have never given him a chance before the deal. So what Siakam really brings also out of this team, or should I say what this team brings out of Siakam's skill set that's so positive, is that he's fantastic in transition. And when they like to push off of misses, and they like to push in general, but when you are allowed to push off of misses, not only are you getting him going downhill, but then at sometimes the defense is cross matched and you have smaller guys guarding him. And Siakam has an actual post game, unlike a lot of guys in the league right now. So he gets in that mid post and he gets to his shit. And boom, the result is what you're seeing in these first two games. So many times when the Bucks started cooling down, especially as the game wore on, you heard Marcus Johnson talk about it in local commentary. Got the rebound, get it up the court. Siakam's got Dame or Malik Beasley or whoever it may be, Connaughton on him. He'll score. You send the double. Now you got a good shooting team with open threes. It's tough. So the best defense for the Bucks is going to be scoring the basketball. And of course, Giannis. Yeah, Lillard, Chris Middleton, that can really create shots. Again, and Bobby Portis as well. But also, you could look for Brook Lopez in the post sometimes. I think that's something they got to adjust, but I'll talk about that at the end. Miles Turner started hedging on Dame. No more drop coverage. Hedging on Dame, try to take away that three. Thing about Dame is he is so good at turning that corner. He is so good at turning that corner. And if you let him get to his left and you're not up on the screen, he's walking into threes. He's one of the best in NBA history at that pull-up three ball going to his left. Ben Shepherd was not being allowed to switch on to Dame, I noticed, for the Pacers, but he was switching on to Pat Bev, so just showing and recovering on Dame. Siakam had 9 points in the first quarter to lead the way for the Indiana Pacers. And then in the second quarter, it was also pretty neck and neck. Pacers outscored the Bucks 30-29, so they were up 60-55 at the half. Bobby Portis started hedging on just about everyone for Milwaukee. Jay Crowder also not being allowed to switch on to Halliburton, which I thought was interesting, just showing and recovering. I don't remember if that was every possession, though, that Crowder was involved in the action where he was showing and recovering, because I would figure that the Bucks would allow Jay Crowder to guard Tyrese Halliburton. I would figure, but that's something I guess I'll keep an eye on going forward. But the three guys that are really cooking for me in that first half were Dame Lillard, Brook Lopez, and Pascal Siakam. I mean, they were getting to their stuff. Brook Lopez, when I mean his stuff, it was really just open threes, but he was hitting. Then Dame and Siakam were doing their thing. Miles Turner, as I said, he was hedging with Dame, but he was in drop with Pat Bev. And I saw that Pat Bev, I was looking at the amount of time players have touched the ball in these playoffs, like touches per game, time on possession. And Pat Bev was one of the highest in time of possession, which is a little interesting. Like, I know Giannis isn't playing, but it just shows you the way they're using him as like a real point guard where, Dame, Bev, he can set the table, but you would still figure that Dame would have the ball in his hands the most. But they've been running him like off-ball actions a lot, starting on the wing for possessions and coming off dribble handoffs, stuff like that. Not as much with Dame initiating like we saw in Portland for so many years. So I think that's interesting that Pat Bev is so. But here's the thing: if Pat Bev is so high in the time of possession department out of every playoff team right now, he's like in the top 10. That's not good. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily ideal. That means you have to feed the ball to Portis and Brook Lopez a little more. Like, get Brook Lopez in the post going. Like, he was a great post scorer. I know he's not doesn't have the same, nimbleness and lift anymore, but you got to put some pressure on Miles Turner one-on-one as opposed to just guarding pick and rolls where he's not really making much contact with dudes and not being allowed to or not being forced to guard without fouling. On the Pacers side of things, Pascal Siakam was switching when Crowder would try to pick and pop with Dame, so they had no problem with Siakam on Dame. And Pascal, by the way, Tyrese Halliburton was playing some pretty good defense on Pat Bev too, and he had a nice block as well in the first half. But first half statistics individually, as standout stuff, I would say Pascal with 21 points at halftime on 8 for 14 shooting and 3 for 4 from 3. And just in general, the Pacers were shooting a lot better, 51% from the field and 48% from 3 at that point. Damian Lillard, 26 points in the first half. Brook Lopez, 12. But those two had 11 of the 18 shots for the Pacers. So the rest of the team, 7 for 21. Chris Middleton had an injury scare in that first half, but he ended up being okay and returning to the game. It's so funny. He had the exact same stat line as the first game first half, I believe. 6 points on 3 for 6 shooting at halftime. But he didn't have as many rebounds and those other things. Now, second half was really the one that the Pacers won, but the third quarter, they only won by 4, 32-28. Aaron Nesmith hit his second three of the game. He was hitting his three ball a little more in this one. 3 for 8 from 3 in this game. 4 for 10 overall. He had 11 points, 5 boards, and 7 assists. Aaron Nesmith, 7 assists. And a lot of that comes from just the Pacers moving the ball and making the extra pass, finding the open guy. That's a really solid game for Aaron Nesmith. And the Pacers had 38 assists to the Bucks 24. They did have 12 more made field goals. That is impressive. Aaron Nesmith, very solid game. As I mentioned earlier, when the Bucks started missing, the Pacers would get out and run and try to find open guys or favorable matchups in the cross matches. As for the Bucks offense in the third, Bobby Portis started to get going. They made an 8-0 run. But the change with the Pacers was their ball pressure. They were guarding a lot tighter in the entire second half. And you know what that does? When guys are trying to come off for dribble handoffs and they don't have as much space, you got to set a real screen if you're the guy setting the screen. Because otherwise, you're getting hit. And when guys don't want to take that contact or send lazy screens, you're not gaining advantages. And that's what was happening for the Bucks. Pacers were getting right into the Bucks' chests, staying attached. And it was taking the Bucks a lot longer to get a good shot, and it was a lot harder to get good shots. Pascal Siakam had 8 points in the third quarter and was 4 for 4. Andrew Nembhard had 9 points in the third quarter. The Pacers, as I said, scored 32 in it. Middleton had 7 in the third. Portis had 8 in the third, and Dame had 8 in the third. So the Bucks, they were still staying afloat. But the fourth quarter is when the Pacers turned up. And it starts with Pascal Siakam. He was really getting off. Like, really getting off. I mean, post-game, to the basket, early offense in transition, dominating. And again, it was a lot of those cross matches when the Bucks were missing shots. Like Bobby Portis, he had a lot of misses from point-blank range that he usually makes. Chris Middleton scoring a lot of shots. And Pat Bev missing all his open threes. Pacers doing a good job getting out and running off that. And Pascal was at the forefront. And Pascal was playing some good defense on Bobby Portis. And he's been there, done that. He's a two-way player. That's what you get with Pascal. So, and they just took over the game. Miles Turner hit 2 threes in the fourth quarter. I mean, they dominated. Won the fourth 33-25 to win it 125-108. And it just kind of felt like, game ran out of gas. Not enough for him. Nembhard was doing a pretty good job. He was 0 for 3 in the fourth with a donut. I had 2 donuts today, by the way. Not too often do I have them. Brook Lopez actually still scored 7 points in the fourth. But game 0 for 3, he was their guy. Wasn't really creating as much. And the Pacers, I mean, they shot 70% from the field and 67 for 3 in the fourth. Nembhard had a filthy step back. Siakam had another 8-point quarter, and as I mentioned, Miles Turner hit those 2 threes. The Pacers' offense is tough to guard. They have a lot of shot makers, and Miles Turner is a spacing 5, a classic pick and pop 5 that is very adept at making those threes. And that's tough to guard. When you got a guy like Tyrese Halliburton who can get downhill and he can make good reads, I have a guy like Siakam. It's a tough offense. Your best counter is to score. So Miles Turner having 0 personal fouls. Oh, no, I'm sorry. But Miles Turner having only, I believe it was 2 fouls. No, he had no personal fouls the whole game. That's my point. You got to put a little more pressure on him. If Giannis isn't playing, you have to give Brook Lopez all the post. You can't just be game pick and roll. Pick and roll is not even that great. You go to the screen. Pacers win at 125-108 and become the first team in the playoffs to win on the road. First team to win on the road. Because remember, the Mavs Clipper game had not finished. And again, if you have not watched my latest vlog, Clippers Mavs, go check that out. Game 2. But yeah, let's read the stat lines for the game. Bucks are losers in this one. 125-108. The Pacers take home court advantage. And to be honest, I think we all expected a 1-1 split without Giannis. I think we all figured the Bucks were good enough. At least I did, to get one game based on Dame's brilliance. Let's read the lines for the losers first. The Milwaukee Bucks. AJ Green played 15 minutes. I saw a shirt that said Dairy Bird. That was the thing they were calling him, Dairy Bird. Are you kidding me? Pretty funny though, I'm not gonna lie. Dairy Bird. AJ Green. Let's see. Malik Beasley, 10 minutes, 4 points, 2 rebounds on 2 for 4 shooting. Pretty quiet. Don't really have much to say about him. Had a floater. Matt Connaughton, 5 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 2 for 3 from the field. He can't guard Pascal anymore. That's got to go. Jay Crowder, 15 minutes played, 2 points, 0 for 3. Could have used some from him. 0 for 2 from 3. 2 points. He was a minus 21. Then the starters for the Bucks. All of them played 29 plus minutes. Brook Lopez is the one that played 29. I thought he was very good. 22 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. I mean, here's the thing, though. The drop coverage, allowing Miles Turner to hit the 3, get the open 3. I don't know about that. I know Brook Lopez is a great drop defender, but we'll see. I'm not saying he shouldn't play. I think he had a good game. Just that team is tough against this team. 22 points on 8 for 13 shooting, 6 for 7 from 3. Wow. And then you had Bobby Portis play 30 minutes, 14 points, 11 rebounds. So it's same double-double, same amount of rebounds. But he was 6 for 16 in this game, 0 for 2 from 3. Missed a couple of chippies. I think he needs to be better. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Golden Knight. My what's it called? My audio is cut out as well on Spotify because of my lack of storage in my computer. Yeah, guys, sorry about the underwater stuff. I think I got to plug my Ethernet in, but the thing is, it's sometimes happening with my Ethernet, which was weird. My connection is really, really good, and it's always been pretty good for the most part, but it has those moments. So, yeah, sorry about that, guys. It has those moments. Yeah, I don't know how I can fix that. I think the best thing I can do is to just have an Ethernet cable in the whole time. Yeah, apologies, guys. That's why I have the audio for the podcast version. Comes out good on that. But Pat Bev, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. 1 assist, 2 blocks on 1 of 5 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3. He did not do enough, in my opinion. That's just not good enough. He's got to make his open threes. Without Giannis, I mean, the onus is on everybody else to step up. And then you have Chris Middleton. I think he needed more. Definitely needed more. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists on 6 for 14 shooting, 1 for 3 from 3, 2 from the line. He needs 20-plus points without Giannis. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. Dame, I thought it was really good. I know he had ran out of gas before, but it was just too much for him to overcome. He's been awesome in the first 2 games. 34 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal on 10 for 21 shooting, 6 for 13 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the line in 39 minutes. So far, so good from Dame, in my opinion. As for the Pacers, they played an 8-man rotation. So no Doug McDermott, no Jalen Smith, no Isaiah Jackson, and it worked. TJ McConnell played 17 minutes. Solid TJ McConnell game, 6 points, 2 boards, 4 assists. Didn't shoot very well, though. 2 for 6 from the field, 2 for 2 from the foul line, but you know what TJ McConnell can bring to the table. And then Obi Toppin played 21 minutes, almost had a double-double. 9 points, 8 boards on 4 for 11 shooting, 1 for 5 from 3. Didn't shoot very well, but he was very active, and I thought did a good job. Then you had Ben Shepherd, who had a very solid bounce-back game. 8 points, 3 rebounds on 3 for 4 shooting and 2 for 3 from 3. He was a plus 11 off the bench. Solid game for him, and it was definitely part of that defense that was improved for Indiana. In the starters, they all played 32 plus minutes. Andrew Nemhart played 32, and what a game he had to bounce back. 20 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, no turnovers on 8 for 11 shooting, 1 for 3 from 3, 3 for 5 from the foul line. He was 7 for 8 from 2. He was a beast, and he was defending game. He didn't have the most success. He was trying his best. And then let's talk about Aaron Neesmith. I already did his stat line. 11 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Wow. 7 assists. Great. Miles Turner, what a game for him. 22 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, 3 blocks on 9 for 15 shooting, 3 for 6 from 3. Here's the thing. When the Pacers use Miles Turner and hedge with him on Dane and prevent the pull-up 3, that's putting Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez in a lot of pick-and-pop situations. In Bobby Portis' case, a lot of short roll situations. You got to make that floater, making reads. He doesn't look up, look at his teammates. Yeah, 22, 7, and 6, 3 blocks and no turnovers from Miles Turner. He shot 60% from the field, 9 for 15, and 50% from 3, 3 for 6, 1 for 1 from the line in 34 minutes of play. He was great. And then you had the stars, starting with Halliburton, a double-double, much better game than game 1. 12 points, 4 boards, 12 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers. We haven't really seen much of the scoring explosion, though, at all from him in any way so far. 4 for 10 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, so he did shoot well from 3, 1 for 2 from the foul line. But the man of the hour, the player of the game, he's been arguably the best player in the series so far. Spicy P, the new Pacer, 37 points, 11 rebounds, another 30-point double-double, 6 assists, 0 turnovers, on 16 for 23 shooting, 3 for 4 from 3, 2 for 3 from the foul line. Dude was knocking down the mid-range, dominating in the post, up and unders. Unbelievable game from him. And the Pacers win it 125 to 108. They shot 56% from the field. The Bucks shot 44. The Bucks shot 41% from 3, but the Pacers shot 44. The Bucks shot 7 more free throws and shot 90.5%. Pacers shot 64% from the line. So their offense was just explosive. 12 more made field goals for Indiana. They also won the rebound battle. And I said assists, the biggest category for me that I look at. I'm like, wow, 38 to 24 in that department. And then 14 to 5 in the fast break point department. And 52-36 in the points in the paint department. And a lot of that is Pascal. The Pacers led by as many as 23. The Bucks led by as many as 8. That was earlier in the game. And the Pacers win it. We got a series on our hands. But that's it for me in this one, guys. Now to the live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. I will have a live on Thursday night, but I don't know what games I'll be talking about. We'll see. Oh, of course, the Lakers, right? Lakers are playing on Thursday? Let's check that real quick. Lakers. Yes, they are. So, yeah, we'll be live after the Laker game for sure. All right, now to the live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. Okay, guys, if you're on Twitter, if you want to ask me questions, guys, come on YouTube. There's 235 of you on Twitter. You guys are so addicted to Twitter. I'm not one to talk, but you guys are. Get on YouTube. Get off of it for a second. Maybe even you can have me on the computer and you can still scroll on Twitter or on the TV. YouTube is better. Please. I have the link for you. June 28th, July. What's up, man? Things getting interesting. Heat. I'm not talking about the Heat. What's up, Daniel Berry? Morning. Where are you from? Golden Knight. The legend. The man. GK. The Dan. Good morning. What's up, Brandon Schutz? How? Kings. What's up, E-Rod? Kings fans, stand up. You already know. Time to bring the noise back to LA. Kopitar better get that statue when it's all said and done. He will. Fuck you, Harden Stan. Golden Knights and Kings won playoff games the same day. It was a great night. Most importantly, Celtics lost and Football Club won in Libertadores. Now the Lakers are going to ruin tonight. Where do you live again? Lakers winning big, actually. Pulling up to make sure. Oh, you're going? Wow. Bucks will humble Pacers. Send them home in 6. Sorry, man. What's up, Andrew Kassar? Clippers versus Mavs. Who wins game 3? I'm going with the Clips. I think we're going to win this next one. Both Pacers and Bucks not going to do anything. Heat in 6. Wow. No way. Heat not winning without Jimmy. Let's not talk about the Heat. I haven't watched the game. Norman Powell's X factor for Clippers to be Mavs in this series. Yeah, I feel like we're due for a big Norm game. Cavs can beat Celtics. I don't know about that. For sure, if Norman and Kawhi look themselves these next couple of games, we can grab both games 3 and 4. I agree. 2 games in Dallas? I don't know about that. Clippers versus Thunder would be crazy. That series decides who win the trade. I feel you on that. Although I don't know, man. I don't know about us. If we win, I don't know if it's guaranteed that we won the trade because they're going to have more years. Anyway, guys, any last comments? I'm going to get off because I have to do Locked On Clippers, and you guys there's only 10 of you in here. The max was like 13. I understood it was going to be a flop. A 1 a.m. live talk about Indiana, Milwaukee. I mean, come on. But anyway, all right, guys. Peace. Got nothing? All right. Have a good one.